Good evening and welcome to the February 2016 edition of Curriculum Connection. I'm Medford's Curriculum Director, Laura Lundy. Tonight, let's talk math. 5 plus 5 always equals 10, and therefore it appears that math is right or wrong, black and white, cut and dry. And although there's truth to the belief that math always has a right answer, educational research has found that the true power of math is not the answer, but how we get to the answer. Starting last summer, 36 teachers from Medford and the surrounding districts began a 3-year math journey by becoming math students themselves as part of a grant which Medford received. The idea that math is messy and kids learn differently is the message that local teachers heard from UW-Oshkosh mathematical experts like UW-Oshkosh professor Jen Sibley. According to Sibley, the best way to help kids to be better mathematicians is to teach them how to think.
The thing that people really need is they need to learn how to learn math, how to think about it. If you have that, you can learn anything. You can learn from books, you can learn by thinking about it yourself, messing around with it, gives you a lot of power.
For generations, math has been taught through procedures and shortcuts. Therefore, when teaching math as a thinking activity versus a procedural activity, parents and community members often respond with the same complaint. That's not how I learned math. Medford math coach Jane Hanel says the old way didn't work for everyone.
The way we learned it obviously wasn't the best way for everybody. And we learned, like I said, how to do it. If you forgot how, we're lost. We didn't have any backup strategies.
Professor Sibley agrees.
If all you learn is a whole bunch of stuff to do, well, first of all, you'll forget it, and then you'll be learning about it next year, and next year, and the next year after that, again, right? Very inefficient way of teaching. So it seems like it's very tempting, it's very seductive to show them all this stuff, and it just turns out that it actually doesn't give them any power. So we need to stop that. We need to start teaching people how to learn and think about mathematics and give them the power so that they can really do mathematics themselves.
Medford began to change the way elementary math was taught a few years ago. At first, it was met with resistance, but once parents saw how much their kids improved, there have been fewer issues.
The math nights that we had, some were filled with, and we were being bombarded with, why are we doing it this way? I don't know if we've had hardly any resistance this year. And it's kind of neat that some of the parents who had the most complaints, now they are amazed at what their kids are doing.
One challenge that teachers face when going into the classroom for the first time is that their training may not have been enough to prepare them for teaching math. 4th grade teacher Brandon Marcus says that although he felt prepared when he started teaching 3 years ago, after just 1 year of the UW-Oshkosh math training, he feels more confident.
I feel like I was prepared, but this has definitely made me a lot more effective of a math teacher, and I feel more prepared going into my lessons to answer questions and give the kids proper work time, and we talk more about things that come up and ways of solving problems.
Changing the way kids are expected to do math has also changed some attitudes. Special education teacher Kathy Schumacher says her kids now get more excited when they get to work on math.
They are excited. They like to come to math intervention. They ask questions. They like to explain their thinking. They like to show their different ways, strategies. Some days it takes 30 minutes for 5 kids to explain 5 different strategies to get to that same final answer. But it's validating their thinking and giving them that time and explaining what they're doing.
4th and 5th grade students who have been learning how to think mathematically believe that math is important because it will help them in the future.
I think math is important because when we do fractions, if you want to be like a carpenter, you need to know how long windows will be, and you need to know if it's 5 inches and the other side is 4 inches, you need to know the area and perimeter and stuff. If you need to pay taxes, you need to know how much times whatever, so you have enough.
Although math may be more exciting now, the students I talked to said math can still be challenging.
Challenging thing for me in math is story problems. I just don't really understand them very well. I like when you can actually see the fractions and the wholes and not have them written out in words.
For me, story problems are hard because we are doing ones that have the remaining, and you have to use a totally different fraction from what's given in the word problem.
Okay.
Story problems,
And why do you think that is?
because there's multiple steps.
And even though math instruction has changed for the better, some students still believe the best part of math is.
It's right before lunch.
As part of the math grant, UW professors go into the classroom and observe teachers. Sibley says she has seen some great lessons.
We visited every single teacher, all 36 in their classrooms over the course of the fall semester, and it was fantastic. We saw children doing number talks where they were explaining their thinking, like second graders. And we saw children building patterns of things and trying to figure out what the next pattern would look like, predicting before they built it, trying to argue what the 100th figure would look like without building it. We saw children in special ed or in math recovery who were really trying to learning how to think about math rather than just putting a bandage on things by showing them how to do something like a shortcut. So we saw a lot of good things happening.
The big question is, are the new methods helping kids learn math? Initial results are positive. Last spring, the number of Medford 3rd and 4th grade students who met or exceeded their NWEA MAP scores were in the 70th percent range. This is 10 to 20% higher than past years. Learning is not efficient. It takes time, it's messy, it takes multiple tries and multiple methods. This is what teachers and students are finding works the best, even if it's not what has always been done back in the good old days. For Curriculum Connection, I'm Laura Lundy.